powered by Riverside.
Hey, welcome to another edition of Blues Better. Today it's game day, everybody. It's game day.
Let's go. Big one.
Not a lot of buzz about this game.
No,
which
there's
is
not.
sad.
Right?
People think it's the old DePaul. And plus the late game, I guess, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's a big game, and we
Yes.
will break it all down for you in a minute. And we're going to do some discussion on a show we had Monday about the most improbable buzzer beater comebacks in Creighton history. First, I want to talk about Vino Mas. Go to vinomas.com, see all the wonderful wines they have, plus all the great meals and menus and recipes they have that you can pair with these wines. It's a terrific spot. Two locations. One, the original one in Eagle Run, and the other one in Legacy. So check them out. It's Vino Mas. A great place to have a glass of wine, something to eat. They have charcuterie boards to purchase. They're delicious, by the way. And then you can buy wine there as well. And then make sure and join their wine club, because you get free wine tasting if you're a member of the wine club. So check it out. That's vinomas.com. All right, before we get to the preview, so we've had a couple suggestions about games that we might have missed.
Okay.
The first one was brought up was Doug St. John's, but that was not a comeback. We led the whole entire game, so we can't count that one.
Yes.
The second one was in St. Joe's, where we were down and Doug hit the three.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good one.
It was.
One to consider.
Yes.
And the other one was a really good one that I actually had to go look up to make sure it fit all the criteria, and it certainly did. That was 21-22 San Diego State game, where Kalkbrenner got hurt. We were totally wiped out. We only had 7 guys. We were down 9.
Yes.
Trey hit a shot with 11 seconds left.
Yes. NCAA tournament, right?
Yep. And so it's the NCAA tournament, so that gives more weight. So I think what we'll do is next week maybe carve out a day and go back with the 5 that we had, and then add these 2, and then figure out if they make the list. Yep. I would think you would have to reconsider San Diego State game for sure.
100%. Yeah, I had somebody mentioned to me about this Doug St. John's game, and I was like, yeah, that kind of fits in the like Booker Woodfox, where like we shouldn't have been in that situation where we needed a game-winning shot. So, granted, I mean, the game-winning shot was amazing. It was, both of them were outstanding, but it was, they're great buzzer beaters, but like the improbability of it,
Yeah. Booker was improbable because the last 5-10 seconds of the game.
Right.
That Doug game was never improbable.
Right.
I mean, the worst that happened was we go to overtime.
Right.
So you can't count that one. But the other 2 definitely.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I bet that St. Joe's game, I completely forgot about that.
So thanks everybody for reaching out.
Yeah, love it.
Giving those, and we will reevaluate those, and maybe who knows, we'll maybe have another one tonight. Who knows?
Yeah.
Hope not, but if we won, it'd be great.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I don't care if it's improbable or not.
Yep. Never apologize for winning.
Speaking of which, it many years was improbable that DePaul would win this game, but not this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so they are they're 12-12, 4-9 in the conference. But how, I don't know, this kind of goes both ways. You and I have talked about this in the past. So they're currently on a 4-game losing streak. So, they were 4-5. A lot of kind of buzz actually about DePaul. I know Chris Holtman, their coach, was at the bar buying rounds for the student section, and things like that. And then, they kind of go on a 4-game losing streak here. They started off actually in Big East play, losing 3 in a row, and then they won 4 of 6. And, that was when kind of the buzz started happening. And now, currently they're on that 4-game slide. So The tough part is if you look at this schedule and their games, they've played everybody tough, and that's again what I think everybody's expecting tonight. If you listen to Mac at all yesterday in the media session, he was hammering it home that this is not the same DePaul team that Creighton has been playing in the past. At what is it, 23 in a row? Is that what Creighton's won
Yeah.
against DePaul? Yeah, like
The
this isn't
question was asked of him. Sometimes, I just want to jump in and go, look, let me give you the rules of these things. Number one, you don't have to ask a question if you're there. You don't
right,
have to.
right.
I often do not ask questions. I didn't ask one yesterday. Number two, what a dumb question. You won 23 in a row. Like, how do you think, how does that happen? Well, Mac just goes, well, you've been at the bottom of the league and we've had really good teams.
Yeah,
It's not, it's not rocket science.
right, right,
It's not
uh,
like we got some special voodoo over DePaul.
right.
I mean, some
And
of the games have been close. I
yeah,
mean, it's
that's
just,
exactly what I was going to say. Some of the
I
games have
mean,
been tough.
I'm sure there's other teams. There just hasn't been teams. That's about a 10-year stretch of games. There haven't been teams that have been consistently at the top like we have through all that time. I would think the one team I could think of might be Xavier
Right.
or maybe Villanova, but
Yeah.
they haven't either. So I mean, it's just you kind of got to know when you ask a question like that. You kind of got to know the answer before you ask the question. So
Right.
another one was, "What have you learned this season?" Well, that's a fine question in April. Not sure
Right.
it's good now. Number two, the guy's won over 500 games. He's
Yeah.
probably, does he learn things? Sure, but Mac just kind of stared and went, "Well, I guess you never know what's going to happen." But he already knows that. Look
Right.
back. We just talked about the Kalkbrenner thing in the NCAA tournament. I mean,
Mm, yep.
he's been through the Zagorowski thing. I mean,
Yeah.
there's tons of examples of, you know,
The year after Doug left, like, yeah, he's been.
yeah. Well, that was, he knew that was coming, but
Yeah.
it's just like, you don't know some of these other things like Kalk getting hurt,
Right.
Zagorowski getting hurt, but you deal with them, and he had a lot of crap going at Iowa State. He's been
Yep.
through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. I got one thing for you, Gunn. I've
Oh, yeah.
watched him and I'm like, how are we gonna stop that guy?
Yep. Yeah, he's a stud. He's 6'7", averaging 14 points for the season, 14 points in Big East play, 42% from the field, 34% from 3-point range. He likes to shoot the three, so he's 125 attempts, so if you kind of look at, I always like to see, like, what does that compare to some of the Creighton players? Trout's attempted 120, Dix is 137, and Swartz is 130. So, you compare, and, familiar with those three and how much they shoot threes and things like that. So Gunn is right there. He likes to shoot the three ball. He was Big East Player of the Week for the week of January 19th, because that included a 31-point effort against Marquette. So he is, he's just tough. He's a tough guard. If you remember last year in the Big East tournament, he had 14 in that game. He was playing really well, and then in the second half he got in big time foul trouble. He didn't play in the overtimes, so that was another major reason why Creighton was able to kind of escape with that win. So he plays 27 minutes a game, but like you said, he's going to be really tough on the Jays tonight. So he's a 75% free throw shooter as well. So he's just Josh Dix is going to have his work cut out for him. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. They're just really long and athletic,
yeah, they are.
much more than they've been in the past,
Yep.
and, they do, uh They sometimes play like us. They just have these unexplainable turnovers and
Yes.
bog down a little bit, but their athleticism is much greater than ours. So
Yep.
that's where that comes into play. Plus, that place hasn't been like a empty warehouse this season. There's actually been some fans there. So
Right. Right. Yeah,
now,
they're not like crazy, like tall or anything like that. Their tallest guy that plays meaningful minutes is Theo Pierre Justin. He plays 15 minutes a game. He's 6'10". Other than that, everybody is the 6'8". NJ Benson is 6'8". Caleb Banks is 6'8". And then we just mentioned God at 6'7". So they're not like I don't know, like super long, like tall and long. They're just, they're kind of middle, and but their wingspan, it makes things very difficult on the defensive end for the Jays going on offense.
yeah, one thing I learned to practice yesterday too. They were working on this and practice. I guess before I got there had gone great, great practice. And then, by the way, Schwartz was full participant. I think he's still bothered by it some. I know Huss was talking to him about making sure he got up on his toes when he's shooting free throw, even though it was kind of a little painful still. But they really struggled in practice on like they were trying to get him like how physical they were going to be on the screens and
Right.
how we needed to fight through that and different things you can do to use their leverage against them and so on and so forth. I thought it was really, excellent coaching by Coach Huss
Yeah.
doing that. So, that's something to watch for tonight, that, they know it's coming. We might get frustrated by it, and we get frustrated, like, by so they're kind of in a way, in that aspect, are similar to Seton Hall.
Yeah. Yep. They're those, kind of across the board. They're kind of excuse me. They're kind of built like that. They're not like the tall, skinny, lanky, long arms. Like they're built guys.
Yeah.
And so that's where they're talking about powering, fighting through screens and making it really difficult for the Jays actions on the offensive end, just like Seton Hall did. And what a lot of teams I feel like have tried to do to Creighton in the past is get really physical on those ball screens. The only positive in the past was the skill that Creighton had around the perimeter and Kalkbrenner and guys like that. So that made it a lot more difficult. It's funny. We talked about this a while ago, and obviously the missing piece of Kalkbrenner on the defensive end, but I don't think it's talked about enough. Him on the offensive end and the way he set that high ball screen, and just how good he was at it, and just how and everybody's like, "Oh, you just got to go up there and set a screen." And I think you talked about this at one of the shows. That just the little nuances of setting screens and how you do it and rolling. That I think the Jays have definitely missed that. From their action on the offensive end this year.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great point, and, like, even yesterday, they were working on offensive set, and, one of the wing guys went up, and Huss like, "No, no, 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 no. Slow down. Wait till this action happens before you just run up there. Oh, I gotta set the screen and run up there." Um, you know, you need it's timing,
Oh yeah,
and, so, yeah, yeah, and that's something that this team just doesn't have all from 1 through 5, they don't do a good job of it.
yeah. Little too. It's kind of funny because you watch some of their offense, and it can be very clunky and things like that, and just kind of like to Huss's point is they're actually too fast in everything that they do, and they're getting to spots before they need to get to those spots, and then those things aren't there anymore, so it really bogs things down. And I mean, even the last play, the Nick Graves game-winning three, like, that wasn't supposed to be anything of what they did.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't to play at all.
Seton
But
Hall kind of blew that up, though. I
they did
mean,
blow it up, but it's just one of those things that, like, it's just kind of the way Creighton season has gone. Where the offense is just a little clunky. Things get blown up a lot easier this year than they have in the past. Um,
yeah, and then you'll
and
see
so
one guy take a dribble, like, and kind of dribble out to the wing when he wasn't supposed to, and that action's already started, and then everybody
yep,
standing there and goes, what are
exactly.
you doing? What are we"
Yep,
when in years past, if that happened, everybody would automatically flow away to the weak side and let that guy go one-on-one. I think that's kinda what he wants and then allow Jason to come up to the screen, but, you know, yeah, we don't our spacing's horrible because of stuff like that.
right. Yep. Yep. Just come back a little bit on DePaul. Just some other guys to know for DePaul. Layden Blocker. He's 6'2" guard, averaging close to 12 points and 4 assists a game. 39% from the field, 32% from 3-point range. If you remember last year in the Big East tournament game, he was outstanding. He had 25 against the Jays. He was really good. He made life miserable for everybody. He especially kind of late in that game, he kind of caught a heater, and Jays had a very difficult time slowing him down. And then the guy that the Jays, besides Gunn, that the Jays are just going to have to be ready for is MJ Benson, 6'8", 10.7 rebounds a game, 60% from the field, doesn't shoot the three. He had 17 against Marquette. And in a game, he had 16 rebounds against Georgetown. He's one of those guys that has caused Creighton fits this year, just with how athletic he is, how tenacious he is on the boards. So, the Jays are really going to have to know where he is at and box him out and make things very difficult for him. One thing, the Jays, if it gets to that point, he is a 49% free throw shooter. So, you
Oh,
know, yeah. So, that's they're not a good free throw shooting team. Gunn and Blocker are their best free throw shooters. They're about a 67% free throw shooting team on the year. So, if this game is tight, obviously free throws become important. So, the Jays definitely have the advantage there at the line.
so he could have fit in with, the Purdue-Nebraska game last night.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
God, Purdue drives me nuts.
What I
Like, they went into okay, I get it. You wanna run some clock? You're up 12 with, like, 3 minutes to go. Run some clock. But then Braden Smith and Lawyer just jack up these
that's
25, 30-foot threes, like, get it. You've been killing them inside all night long. You
no,
have a 12-point lead. Run the clock down and get some action inside.
yeah.
And
They didn't even run the clock down. I think
no,
Lawyer's three was with like 18 seconds on the
like, if
shot
I was
clock.
Painter, I'd have gone nuts, and he just stood there. "Oh, well, you know, oh,
Yeah,
well, oh,
that
well." I
was
mean, I just didn't understand that at all. And then
yeah,
you got these excellent free throws that couldn't make free throws. It's just,
right.
wow, crazy.
Yeah,
They were so lucky to come out because Mass hits that free throw.
yeah.
They're in
That
big
that,
trouble.
that would have been added to the improbability with that basketball game. Uh, yeah,
Well, then
that was
you just throw water on the floor.
right.
I'm joking.
I
People are
know.
complaining about that. Look, that's on the Nebraska
Yes.
staff to clean that up. You watch the Creighton guys.
Oh yeah.
They go out there immediately and
Yeah.
wipe up where because Seton Hall was bringing their bench way out onto the floor. Like,
Right.
I think UConn does that too.
Yes.
And they're immediately out there cleaning that up. I mean, that's what you
Yes.
have to do. If
Yeah.
you didn't do it, that's on you.
Right. I laughed when they were like, it had to be really bad because then two other guys came over to help and they fell too. I was like, well, that's because Lawrence fell. And then it's really, really slick because you have his sweat,
Yeah.
and it's just like, that's why they also
There's
fell.
2 other guys.
So,
Like, they were arguing the one guy picked up the ball, he didn't have any problem,
yeah.
and the other guy there was only one guy that kinda slipped a little, and then the other guy kinda hit him.
Yeah.
So it made it look worse than it was.
Right.
But I
Yeah.
mean, yeah,
Yeah.
if you watch the replay, he lost his edge way before he even got to the 3-point line, though. So I'm not sure,
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever. But anyway, I digress. It
Right.
was a great, it was a crazy, crazy game and a great, great
It
game, exciting
was.
game.
It was. Yeah. Just a couple other things on DePaul. Like, so they're not a great scoring team. They're 10th in the Big East in points per game. They don't shoot the ball well from the
Chris likes
field.
to slow it down, though.
Yes. Yep. They're 44% shooting team, 33% from 3-point range, which are all in the bottom half. Like I said, bad free throw shooting team. They actually, besides Benson, they're actually really not a good rebounding team. So
Which is
uh,
crazy when you
right.
watch 'em.
Yeah, they're actually last in the Big East in rebounds per game. So, especially a team that shoots poorly and plays good defense. You would think you would be kind of up in that top half of rebounding. But yeah, it's kind of strange. They don't get a ton of steals. They're one of the defenses that just kind of sit there and make things miserable, and just kind of like we talked about being super physical on screens and things like that. That just makes things difficult for the offense. Kind of just bogs everything down. So I mean, it's not like Seton Hall where pick sixes and things like that have to be a major concern. You still have to obviously take care of the basketball, but they're not, full court pressure, just in your face the whole time. They kind of sit and get after you in the half court.
Yeah, it would be a great night to just have a great shooting night for a change.
Yes.
I mean, I
Right.
know Trout went off last game, but just the whole team just knocked down shots.
Yeah. They're due. Creighton's due for one of those. It's been a
Yeah,
while.
yeah. They also were working on rebounding yesterday, obviously, so yeah. Yeah, Jay's actually a 1.5 point underdog in this game. And the total's 142, and as you said, DePaul can't score, and anytime a Jays game's under 150, it's something up. Something's up.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I was kinda confident the Seton Hall game. I don't have a lot of confidence in this game.
Yeah.
I'm preparing myself for the worst.
Yeah. Yeah. This one's kind of weird. It's kind of what we talked about briefly on Monday. Coming off of that win on Saturday night, you hope that, the Jays kind of were able to breathe a little bit, and you steal a win, breathe a little bit, and then kind of with such a tough week. And obviously, this week's going to be, super difficult as well. Mac talked about, the wake and the funeral and things like that are this week. So obviously that's going to make things super super emotional and difficult again for the Jays. But hopefully, like I said, that Saturday win can kind of just give them a little reset and kind of let them go and just go up to Chicago here and just let it rip and play and play the game that you love. Mac talked about that a little bit. I think on Saturday that just Dick's being able to get away from everything and just go play basketball had to
Yeah.
be massive for him. And so this is another opportunity to just go out and the rest of the team kind of play for your brother. So I'm not going to make any predictions. I'm staying away from those now. But I don't know. I hope that the Jays come out ready to go. And I put it in the message board. Shout out. We got some really good information in the message boards. So if you're not a subscriber to the Blue Jay banner, go and become a member and check us out. But we mentioned Fedor and how it just seems like whenever we're down, he just kind of something flips with him, and he just kind of just doesn't think and goes out and play. And it would be awesome if he would just kind of do that from the beginning, because some of the things that he does out there, that's these late in the game situations that I think that's kind of what we were all anticipating we were getting with Fedor, and it would be
Yeah,
awesome because the Jays need something like that.
yeah. We need a consistent performance from him tonight
Yes,
on the
it would
defensive
go.
end and to fight through the screens and so
Yep,
forth. Yep.
it would go a long ways.
Well, that's an excellent breakdown, Michael. And what else is excellent is RTI Threads. Go to rtathreads.com. Check out all they have to offer. Quarter zips, hoodies, tees, hats, you name it, they got it. They've got jerseys of both men's and women's teams. So check everything they have to offer. RTI Threads, they're coming up with new stuff all the time. So you want to just always circle back and see that, like we mentioned, they had a very cool Creighton basketball cap that we had Trout autographed the other night with his 5 to 7 or 5 and 9 performance. 5 and 9 was it? Yeah.
No,
Um,
he's 6 of 10
6 to
because he
10, I'm
finished.
sorry.
Yep,
Yeah, it was
because
6
he
to
finished
10,
with
and we
18.
had him
Yep.
put his stats on there and autographed it at Seton
Yeah.
Hall game and gave it away to one of our great listeners on our post-game, speaking of which. So go to rtithreads.com, and yes, tonight right after the game, jump on our YouTube channel, the same one right here, and we'll have the post-game show, myself and AJ and Austin. It'll be a late nighter, so jump on. We'll give away some more stuff, and,
Let's talk about the women's huge upset at UConn tonight, right?
yeah, sure.
Yep. Yeah.
By the way, you can watch that game
Yeah.
6 on Peacock, and then 8,
Yep.
the Jays game, so easy viewing
Right.
tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know I was telling my wife, like, she's like, "Oh, this is bad." And I go, "Yeah, but UConn is beating the best teams in the country by 25, 30 points."
Right.
It's not
Yeah.
it's not like
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's not
it's crazy.
right. They're a juggernaut for sure.
It's yeah. Wow. This is gonna waltz in. This could
Right.
be I mean, they got a shot to do men's and women's both here, you know?
Yep.
But at any rate, so yeah, game at 8, and right afterwards, we'll be within about 5, 10 minutes of the end of the game, we'll be on the post-game show, so jump on here. We'd really love it if people would participate. So, you can get our email, and send us an email, and we'll put you on. All right. Thanks, Mike. Thanks everybody listening. And by the way, our shows last week, we are 5 viewers away from setting the all-time record for Blue Jay Banner today in 1 week. So go back if you haven't and view all the shows from last week and give it a view. We're gonna repost tomorrow. We'll repost our interview with Coach Kingston
Yeah.
since we'll be on the precipice of the baseball season.
Yeah.
So check out all those shows and make sure you hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a ton. All right, we will see you tonight.
Go Jays.